My wife said, "You're not fun anymore. I want a trial separation." I said, "Done. I'm a software engineer. My life runs on logic and systems." For 12 years, Jennifer called me her steady rock while she bounced between dream careers. First, a travel blog that lost money, then selling handmade jewelry online. I paid the mortgage, managed our investments, kept us stable. She got to chase every whim because I built the foundation. Last Tuesday, she sat me down in our kitchen, the one she'd renovated last year with my bonus money. "I need space to find myself," she said, not meeting my eyes. "You're too predictable. I want excitement." I noticed she'd stopped wearing her wedding ring 3 weeks ago for my yoga practice, she'd claimed. "Done," I said simply. She blinked. That wasn't in her script. She expected begging, promises to be more spontaneous, maybe tears. Instead, I was already mentally calculating logistics. "Wait, just like that," she stammered. "You're not going to fight for us. You just told me you don't want this life," I replied. "I'm respecting your decision," while she packed upstairs, taking only her clothes and leaving everything I'd bought. I made calls. First, a divorce attorney, then my bank, then HR. The attorney, Jacqueline, was brutally efficient. "Document everything," she said. "The moment of separation starts the clock on asset division. Protect yourself legally." I didn't drain our joint account, left $3,000 as a buffer, but I moved my salary to a new individual account. Canceled her credit cards where she was just an authorized user. Updated my insurance beneficiaries. Changed the Netflix password. Each action was methodical, clean, defensible. Jennifer moved in with her sister temporarily, posting Instagram stories about new beginnings and authentic living. She looked radiant in her yoga photos with that instructor, Lance, who apparently specialized in tantric enlightenment. The earthquake hit 5 days later. "My card got declined at Target," she texted. The cashier was so rude. "Fix this. We're separated," I replied. "Finances are separate now." "What do you mean separated? This is just a trial." "You wanted independence. This is what it looks like." The 3 dots appeared and disappeared for 10 minutes. She was probably checking our old account balance for the first time in years. Day 7 brought panic. "Peter, I can't access the health insurance portal. There's some error." "No error. Spousal benefits end this month. You'll get COBRA paperwork soon." Her responses got increasingly frantic. She'd never handled insurance, never paid a utility bill, never balanced a checkbook. For 12 years, I'd been her personal IT department, accountant, and safety net. She thought those services came with unconditional lifetime warranty. This morning, she showed up crying, mascara streaked, designer yoga clothes wrinkled. Behind her stood Lance, tall, tan, suddenly looking very uncomfortable. "You can't just abandon me," she sobbed. "I'm your wife. You wanted a trial separation," I said calmly. "You're getting the full experience." That's when the real truth came out. Her spiritual journey with Lance wasn't just yoga. He'd convinced her to invest in his wellness retreat center. $2,000 upfront, plus monthly payments. Her part-time income from selling essential oils, $400 on a good month. She'd expected to fund her new life with my money while finding herself. Lance shifted nervously. "Look, man, I thought you guys had worked out the financial stuff." I handed Jennifer an envelope, COBRA insurance forms, apartment listings in her budget range, and a printout of her actual monthly expenses versus income. "You wanted excitement and unpredictability," I said. "Congratulations. Not knowing if you can afford groceries is very unpredictable." She stared at the numbers, finally understanding. Without my steady, boring income, her Instagram-worthy lifestyle collapsed into basic survival math. "This isn't what I wanted," she whispered. "It's exactly what you asked for," I replied. "Independence? Freedom from the predictable guy who paid for everything." Lance quietly backed toward his car. A Toyota pulled up fast. Jennifer's sister Rebecca jumped out, face flushed. "Jen, what the hell did you do?" She had papers in her hand, bank statements. "Rebecca, not now," Jennifer pleaded. But Rebecca was livid. "You forged my name? You used my identity to open credit cards?" She shoved the statements at Jennifer. $70,000 in my name. Collections agencies are calling my work." I took the papers. Recent charges, all at luxury spas, retreats, designer stores, all authorized by Jennifer using Rebecca's stolen information. "There's more," Rebecca said, voice breaking. "She took out a second mortgage on Mom's house. Mom's in hospice, Jen. Her house is going into foreclosure." Jennifer reached for her sister, but Rebecca stepped back. "She has 2 weeks before they take everything." Lance was already in his car, reversing out of my driveway. Jennifer stood frozen, watching him leave. Rebecca's hands were shaking as she held the bank statements. "When did you find out?" I asked Rebecca. "This morning. Collections called me at 6 a.m. I work in pediatrics. Peter. Parents heard the collection agent yelling about unpaid debts. My supervisor pulled me into her office. She turned to Jennifer. "Do you understand what you've done? I could lose my nursing license. Identity fraud by a family member doesn't matter. It's still fraud." Jennifer finally found her voice. "I was going to pay it back once the retreat center started making money." "What retreat center?" Rebecca's voice went flat. "The one that doesn't exist?" I called the LLC Lance registered. "It's a P.O. box in Nevada. The address he gave you for the property? It's a vacant lot." I pulled out my phone and searched the business registration. Rebecca was right. Zen Horizons Wellness LLC. Filed 3 months ago. Registered agent was Lance Pemberton. No assets, no business license, no actual property. "He showed me pictures," Jennifer whispered. "The land, the buildings we were going to renovate." "Stock photos," I said, still scrolling. "This one's from a resort in Bali. This one's a yoga studio in Colorado that closed in 2019. Jennifer's legs gave out. She sat down hard on my front steps. No, he wouldn't. He absolutely would." Rebecca's voice was ice. "And you helped him by stealing my identity. Mom's house, Jen. She has stage 4 cancer and 2 weeks to live. Her final wish was to leave us the house. The only thing she has. You took that from her. I already knew what I had to do. Rebecca, come inside. We're calling the police." "Peter, wait." Jennifer grabbed at my arm. "Please, we can fix this. I'll confess. I'll work out a payment plan." "With what money?" Rebecca snapped. "You don't have a job. You haven't had a real job in 12 years. Peter funded your entire existence and you thanked him by committing identity theft against your own sister." Jennifer's phone started ringing. She looked at the screen. "Lance." Her hand trembled as she answered. "Lance, I need you to come back. We need to talk about—" Whatever Lance said made her face go white. She pulled the phone away from her ear. We could all hear him laughing. "You actually thought this was real? Jennifer, you're 38 years old. Did you seriously believe a 29-year-old yoga instructor wanted to build a life with you? I needed investors. You were perfect, desperate, gullible, and best of all, married to a tech guy with money. Thanks for the 18 grand, by the way. Have fun explaining this to your husband." The line went dead. Jennifer just stared at her phone. Inside, I made coffee while Rebecca called the police. Jennifer sat at my kitchen table, the same one where she'd asked for her separation 10 days ago. She looked like she'd aged 5 years. "Did you know?" she finally asked me. "About Lance?" I knew something was off. Looked him up after you mentioned investing. Found 3 other women in online forums warning about him. Same pattern every time. Love bombing, fake business opportunity, takes the money and disappears. "You knew and you didn't warn me?" I set a mug in front of Rebecca. Ignored Jennifer. "You asked for independence. I gave you the freedom to make your own choices. That's cruel. What's cruel is stealing your sister's identity. What's cruel is mortgaging your dying mother's house. What's cruel is planning to divorce me after I funded your lifestyle for over a decade. I just let you face the consequences of your own actions." The police arrived 20 minutes later. 2 officers, one older with gray at his temples, one younger taking notes. Rebecca explained everything while Jennifer sat silent. They asked to see the bank statements, the mortgage paperwork. "Ma'am," the older officer addressed Jennifer, "we're going to need you to come with us. You're being charged with identity theft and fraud." "I'm her sister," Rebecca said. "She's family, but I'm pressing charges." "Rebecca, please," Jennifer tried. "Mom has 2 weeks left. 2 weeks, and she's going to die knowing you stole her house. That's what you've done." They arrested Jennifer right there in my kitchen, read her rights, handcuffed her, walked her out. She kept looking back at me like I might suddenly intervene. I didn't. After they left, Rebecca sat at the table and cried. "My mom worked as a school secretary for 40 years. That house is worth maybe $220,000. The second mortgage Jen took out was for $85,000. Mom's original mortgage was almost paid off. Now there's $112,000 owed total, and the payments are 2 months behind. What did she spend it on? The retreat center investment was $18,000. The rest?" Rebecca pulled out more statements. Spa retreats, designer clothes, a 2-week trip to Tulum she posted all over Instagram, a used BMW she couldn't afford to insure. She bought a life she couldn't sustain, and when you cut off funding, she stole mine and Mom's. I looked at the foreclosure notice. Sale date was in 12 days. How much would it take to stop the foreclosure? The back payments, fees, everything. About $8,000 right now. But I don't have that. I'm a pediatric nurse with 3 kids and student loans. I opened my laptop. "Give me the mortgage company's information." "Peter, you don't have to." "I'm not doing this for Jennifer. Your mother doesn't deserve to die knowing she lost her house." I paid off the back payments and fees. $8,247.82. Then I called the mortgage company and explained the situation. The account was fraudulent, opened with a forged signature. I had police report numbers. They agreed to investigate, but the process would take weeks. I'll cover the regular payment until this gets resolved. I told Rebecca, keep your mother's house out of foreclosure. Once Jennifer's convicted, the fraudulent mortgage should be voided. Rebecca was crying again. Why would you help us? After what she did to you? Because Jennifer's actions aren't your fault or your mother's, and because it's the right thing to do. My phone rang. Jennifer's number. I answered on speaker. Peter, they're letting me make one call. I need you to bail me out. Please, I'll pay you back, I swear. Bail for identity theft and fraud is probably set pretty high, assuming you even get bail. I'm your wife. In sickness and in health, remember? You asked for a separation. You wanted independence. This is what that looks like. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll do anything. You can start by pleading guilty and making this easier on Rebecca and your mother. You're really going to let me sit in jail? You committed multiple felonies. Jail is where you're supposed to sit. I hung up. Rebecca wiped her eyes. I need to tell my mom. She should know before anyone else does. Do you want me to come with you? She shook her head. This is family business. You've done enough. After she left, I sat alone in my kitchen. The house was quiet. For 12 years, Jennifer's voice had filled these rooms. Her laughter, her complaints, her endless stories about her latest project. Now there was just silence. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel satisfied. I felt tired. My phone buzzed. Email from Jacqueline, my attorney. Heard your wife was arrested. This actually helps our case significantly. Call me tomorrow to discuss next steps. Then a text from my sister, Vanessa. Mom just called me crying about Jennifer. Said you're being too harsh. Wanted me to talk to you. I typed back. Jennifer committed identity theft against her dying mother and her sister. She stole $70,000 and destroyed their credit. I'm not being harsh. I'm being realistic. Vanessa. Mom thinks you should forgive her. Me. Mom can pay her bail then. Vanessa. You know Mom doesn't have that kind of money. Me. Exactly. I made dinner. Pasta with jar sauce. Ate alone while reading news on my phone. This was my life now. Quiet. Simple. No drama. No financial black holes. No wondering what Jennifer would need next. My phone rang at 9 p.m. Unknown number, I answered. Mr. Whitmore, this is Detective Sarah Chen with the Fraud Division. I'm handling your wife's case. I have some questions. Happy to help. How long were you aware of your wife's financial activities? I knew about her spending habits. I didn't know about the identity theft until today when Rebecca showed me the statements. But you did cancel her credit cards and remove her from your accounts 9 days ago? We separated. She asked for independence. I protected my finances accordingly. That timing is interesting. Most spouses would try reconciliation first. I'm not most spouses. She told me she wanted to leave. I believed her and acted accordingly. Did you suspect she might engage in fraud when you cut off her access to funds? I saw where this was going. Detective, are you suggesting I'm somehow responsible for her choices? I'm asking if you created a situation that pushed her toward illegal activity. Jennifer is 38 years old. She made her own choices. I didn't force her to steal her sister's identity or mortgage her dying mother's house. That's on her. Some might say you set a trap. Some might say she's an adult who committed multiple felonies. If you're charging me with something, Detective, I'll have my attorney present. Otherwise, I've answered your questions. Silence on the line. Then, we'll be in touch, Mr. Whitmore. She hung up. I immediately called Jacqueline. They think I set Jennifer up, I explained the conversation. Did you? I protected myself from a spouse who wanted to leave. What she did after that was her choice. The prosecution might try to paint you as vindictive, cutting off finances immediately, not warning her about Lance even though you knew he was a scam artist. I gave her exactly what she asked for. Independence. A jury might not see it that way. We need to be careful here. If they charge her, you could be called as a witness. Your testimony could make or break the case. But if they think you're biased or malicious, it hurts everyone. So what do I do? Be cooperative but not eager. Express concern for Rebecca and her mother, not satisfaction about Jennifer's situation. And for the love of God, don't post anything on social media. After we hung up, I sat staring at my phone. The detective's questions bothered me, not because they were wrong, but because part of me had known Jennifer would spiral without my financial safety net. I just expected her to move back home with her parents or get a real job, not commit felonies. My phone buzzed. Facebook Messenger. Jennifer's mother, Caroline. Peter, please. She's my daughter. Whatever she did, she doesn't deserve jail. I didn't respond. What could I say? That her daughter had mortgaged her house while she was dying of cancer? Caroline probably didn't even know yet. Another message. Rebecca won't answer my calls. What's happening? Why did the police arrest Jennifer? Then, Peter, please. I don't understand what's going on. I called Rebecca. Does your mom know about the house? Not yet. I couldn't do it over the phone. I'm driving to the hospice center now. Your mom's messaging me. She knows Jennifer was arrested, but not why. Let me tell her first, please. She's so weak already. I agreed and didn't respond to Caroline's messages. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. Caroline. I didn't answer. She called 3 more times. Then Rebecca called. She knows. She's devastated. Asking for you. Rebecca, I can't. My mom is dying. She has days, maybe a week. She wants to see you. Please. The hospice center was 15 minutes away. I'd never been there before. Jennifer had been visiting regularly but never asked me to come. Too predictable, I guess. Not spontaneous enough for end-of-life vigils. Caroline was in room 114. Rebecca met me at the door. She's really weak. The cancer spread to her lungs. She has trouble breathing. Inside, Caroline looked nothing like the vibrant woman I'd met at Jennifer's and my engagement party 13 years ago. She'd lost at least 60 pounds. Her skin was gray, eyes sunken. An oxygen tube ran under her nose. Various machines beeped quietly. Peter, her voice was barely a whisper. Come here. I sat in the chair next to her bed. She reached out with a shaking hand. I took it. I'm so sorry, she said. For what Jennifer did, to you, to Rebecca, to me. None of this is your fault. I raised her. I must have done something wrong. You did your best. Jennifer made her own choices. Tears leaked from Caroline's eyes. She was always entitled, even as a child. Wanted everything her friends had. I thought she'd grow out of it. Some people don't. Rebecca told me you paid the mortgage. Saved my house. It was the right thing to do. You're a good man, Peter. Better than Jennifer deserved. She coughed, a wet rattling sound. Rebecca adjusted her oxygen. Mom, you need to rest. Let me say this. Caroline squeezed my hand. Don't bail her out. Let her face what she's done. I won't be here to see it, but maybe jail will finally teach her something. Mom, Rebecca started. I mean it. She stole from her dying mother. That's who she is. Another coughing fit. Promise me, Peter, don't save her from this. I promise. Caroline nodded and closed her eyes. Thank you for everything. I'm sorry you got caught up in our family mess. I stayed for a few more minutes, then left Rebecca alone with her mother. In the parking lot, I sat in my car and let everything catch up to me. The last 10 days felt like a fever dream. My wife asking for a separation. Me systematically dismantling our shared life. Her arrest for crimes I hadn't even known about. My phone buzzed. Vanessa again. Mom's on the warpath. She called Aunt Linda, Aunt Patricia, everyone. They're all saying you need to help Jennifer. Did you tell them what Jennifer actually did? I tried. Mom says you're being vindictive, that you always resented Jennifer's free spirit. Her free spirit committed multiple felonies. I know. I'm on your side. But Mom's making this a family thing. Says you're not acting like family. I acted like family for 12 years while I funded Jennifer's lifestyle. Where was Jennifer's family loyalty when she was stealing from her own sister? Preaching to the choir. Just warning you that Mom's planning some kind of intervention. Great, because this situation needed more drama. I drove home, ordered Chinese food, and tried to focus on work. But concentration was impossible. I kept thinking about Caroline in that hospice bed, apologizing for her daughter. About Rebecca's 3 kids who would grow up knowing their aunt was in prison for stealing from their dying grandmother. At 11 p.m., someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. My mother, Diane, and behind her, my father, Robert, my sister, Vanessa, Aunt Linda, and Uncle Tom. I opened the door. This looks like an intervention. It is, my mother said, pushing past me into the house. The others followed. Everyone settled into my living room like they were staging a coup. Peter, my mother began, her voice taking on that tone she used when she was about to lecture me. We need to talk about Jennifer. What about her? She made mistakes, but she's family, and family helps each other. She's not your family, Mom. She's my wife who asked me for a separation. Trial separation? Aunt Linda interjected. She just needed space to find herself. She found herself committing identity theft and fraud. That's harsh, Uncle Tom said. She made poor decisions, but everyone deserves a second chance. I looked at my father. He'd been silent, standing near the doorway. Dad, you have an opinion on this? He cleared his throat. Your mother asked me to come. I think this is between you and Jennifer. Robert, my mother snapped. We agreed you'd help convince him. We agreed I'd come listen. I'm listening. Peter's an adult. He can make his own decisions. Thank you, Dad. My mother stood up. Fine. If your father won't help, I'll say it myself. You need to bail Jennifer out. She needs help, not punishment. She committed crimes, Mom. Multiple felonies. This isn't about me being mean. She's scared and alone in jail. Can you imagine how frightened she must be? Can you imagine how Rebecca felt when collection agencies started calling her at work? Or how Caroline feels knowing her daughter stole her house while she's dying. Caroline will forgive her, Aunt Linda said. It's what mothers do. Caroline literally told me an hour ago not to bail Jennifer out. She wants Jennifer to face consequences for once in her life. That stopped the room cold. My mother recovered first. Caroline's not thinking clearly. She's on pain medication. She was completely lucid. And she's right. Jennifer is 38 years old. She's never faced real consequences for anything. I've always just fixed her problems, paid her debts, cleaned up her messes. Because that's what husbands do, my mother said. No, Mom. That's what enablers do. And I'm done enabling. Vanessa spoke up for the first time. I agree with Peter. Everyone turned to look at her. Vanessa, my mother's voice held a warning. Not you too. Mom, Jennifer didn't just make mistakes. She deliberately stole her sister's identity and her dying mother's house. That's not poor judgment. That's criminal behavior. Why should Peter bail her out? Because he made vows, for better or worse. And she broke those vows when she started planning her exit strategy with Lance, I said. She wanted independence. She's getting it. Lance took advantage of her, Aunt Linda insisted. She was vulnerable. She was complicit. She gave him $18,000 of stolen money. She knew exactly what she was doing. Uncle Tom tried a different angle. Think about your future, Peter. If you abandon her now, everyone will know. How will that look? Like I have boundaries and self-respect? Like you're cold and vindictive? I'm fine with that reputation. The intervention continued for another 30 minutes. Various family members took turns explaining why I was wrong, why I needed to be the bigger person, why Jennifer deserved another chance. I listened politely and said no to every request. Finally, they left. My mother was the last one out the door. I raised you better than this. You raised me to be responsible and handle my own problems. That's exactly what I'm doing. You're being cruel. I'm being logical. There's a difference. She left, shaking her head. My father lingered. You good, son? I'm fine, Dad. Your mother means well. She means well, but she's wrong. Jennifer doesn't need rescuing. She needs consequences. He nodded. I agree, but I have to live with your mother. So I kept my mouth shut in there. I noticed. Thanks for not piling on. You're handling this right. Jennifer made her bed. He clapped me on the shoulder. You need anything, call me. After everyone left, I poured myself a bourbon, sat on my couch in the dark. Tomorrow, Jennifer would have her bail hearing. Jacqueline had already told me it would be high, probably $50,000. I'd need to put up 10% through a bondsman. I wasn't going to do it. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. Mr. Whitmore, this is Lance. We need to talk. I stared at the message. The audacity of this guy. Me. We have nothing to talk about. Lance. Actually, we do. I have information about Jennifer you'll want to hear. Me. Tell the police. Lance. This is better handled privately. Meet me tomorrow, 2 p.m., Riverside Park. Or I'll make things very difficult for you. I took a screenshot and forwarded it to Jacqueline, then to Detective Chen. 10 minutes later, Jacqueline called. Do not meet with him. This is either a shakedown attempt or he's wearing a wire for the police. You think the police are investigating me? I think they're looking at every angle. Lance might be trying to trade testimony against you for leniency on his own charges. He hasn't been charged with anything yet. But he will be. Fraud, theft by deception, possibly wire fraud if he used email for any of this. He needs leverage. So what do? Ignore him. Let him make his threats. Forward everything to me and the detective. Don't engage. I tried to sleep but couldn't. At 2 a.m., I was still staring at the ceiling when my phone rang. Unknown number again. I answered. Peter Whitmore? A woman's voice. Who's this? Amanda Terrell. I'm a reporter with the Metro Daily News. I heard about your wife's arrest. I'd like to interview you. No comment. I'm doing a piece on elder financial abuse. Your mother-in-law's case fits perfectly. I thought you might want to share your perspective. How did you get my number? Public records. So, do you have any comments about your wife mortgaging her dying mother's house? This is a private family matter. Your wife was arrested on multiple felony charges. That's public record. I'm running the story either way. You can participate or not. I hung up. 30 seconds later, a text from the same number. I'll take your silence as confirmation of all allegations. Story runs tomorrow. I forwarded that to Jacqueline too. She responded immediately. Don't talk to reporters. This is exactly what I warned you about. They'll twist everything. The next morning, I woke to 17 missed calls. My phone was blowing up. I checked the Metro Daily News website. The headline, Local woman arrested for defrauding dying mother, husband refuses to help. The article laid out Jennifer's crimes in detail, but it also painted me as cold and calculating. Sources say Whitmore systematically cut off his wife's finances immediately after she asked for a trial separation, leaving her desperate and vulnerable to manipulation. They quoted an anonymous source, probably Lance, saying, "I knew about Jennifer's financial struggles, but did nothing to help." Another anonymous source, probably one of Jennifer's yoga friends, claimed I'd always been controlling with money, and that Jennifer felt trapped in a financially abusive relationship. My phone started ringing. Media requests. I ignored all of them. Then my work email lit up. 3 messages from colleagues asking if I was okay. 2 from HR saying they needed to speak with me. 1 from my boss. "Call me as soon as possible." I called him. Greg had been my supervisor for 4 years. "Peter, what the hell is going on?" I explained everything. The separation, Jennifer's arrest, the media circus. "This is a mess. We have clients who read that article. They're asking questions. My personal life doesn't affect my work. It affects our reputation. I need you to take some time off while this blows over." "Are you suspending me?" "I'm suggesting you work from home for a few weeks. Use your PTO. Let this die down." It wasn't a suggestion. I agreed and logged off. Within an hour, the story had spread to other local news sites, each one with a slightly different spin, but all painting me as the villain somehow. The cold husband who abandoned his wife when she needed him most. My phone rang. "Rebecca." "Peter, I'm so sorry. I didn't talk to any reporters, I swear." "I know. Someone else did, though. The article makes you sound horrible, like you pushed Jennifer to commit crimes. That's the narrative they want. Desperate wife, driven to crime by heartless husband. What are you going to do?" "Nothing. Jacqueline says engaging with the media will only make it worse. Let them write their stories. The police have the actual facts." But the stories kept coming. By noon, 3 local TV stations had run segments. One showed up at my house. I closed the curtains and didn't answer the door. They interviewed my neighbors instead. Mrs. Ramsey from 2 doors down told them I always seemed nice but quiet. Mr. Patterson said he never saw Jennifer and me together much, like we lived separate lives. Everything twisted to fit their narrative. At 3 p.m., Jennifer's bail hearing happened. Jacqueline attended to observe. She called me after. Bail set at $75,000. Judge cited flight risk because of the Lance situation. Also, the prosecution revealed Jennifer had been researching how to transfer property ownership in her mother's name. They think she was planning to sell the house outright once Caroline died. Jesus. There's more. They found communication between Jennifer and Lance about moving to Mexico once the retreat center money came through. She was planning to leave the country, while still legally married to me. Presumably, she was going to file for divorce remotely after she disappeared. Leave you holding the bag for any debts. Can they prove that? They have text messages, search history, everything. Jennifer didn't even try to hide it. She really thought she'd get away with it. Jennifer couldn't make bail. Nobody in her family had that kind of money, and I wasn't helping. She'd spend the next several weeks in county jail waiting for trial. My mother called that evening. "Are you watching the news?" "No." "They're destroying you, Peter. You need to defend yourself." "I am defending myself." With silence. "That makes you look guilty." "I'm not guilty of anything. Jennifer's the one in jail." "They're saying you financially abused her." Cut her off without warning. "We were separated, Mom. That's what separation means. You could have given her time to adjust. She wanted independence immediately. I gave her exactly that. At what cost? Look what happened. What happened is that Jennifer revealed her true character. I didn't make her steal from Rebecca. I didn't make her mortgage Caroline's house. I didn't make her plan to flee the country with a con artist. Those were her choices. You could have prevented it. By continuing to enable her? By funding her indefinitely while she figured out if she wanted to be married? No. Mom, I'm not the villain here, no matter what the news says. She hung up on me. 10 minutes later, Vanessa texted, "Mom's losing it," screaming about how the family reputation is ruined. Dad's hiding in the garage. Me. Not my problem. Vanessa. She's talking about calling the media herself, setting the record straight. Me. Tell her if she does that, I'll cut contact with her too. I'm serious. Vanessa. I'll try. The media circus continued for 3 days. Local news, then some regional outlets picked it up. Software engineer abandons wife after trial separation, leading to crime spree. The comments sections were brutal. Half the people calling me a controlling abuser, the other half calling Jennifer an entitled criminal. Then Caroline died. Rebecca called me at 5 a.m. on Thursday. She's gone, passed peacefully around 3 a.m. "I'm sorry, Rebecca." She asked about Jennifer at the end. Wanted to know if she was safe. "What did you tell her?" "That Jennifer was where she needed to be." Mom nodded and said good. Those were her last words. The funeral was scheduled for Monday. Rebecca asked if I'd come. "Jennifer will be there. She's getting a 4-hour release for the funeral with a guard. I'll come for you and your mom, not for Jennifer." Thank you. The funeral home was crowded. Caroline had been a school secretary for decades, knew hundreds of people. Everyone had stories about her kindness. The service was beautiful. The priest talked about forgiveness and grace. Jennifer sat in the back row, handcuffed to a female guard. She wore an orange jumpsuit. Her hair was greasy, face bare of makeup. She looked broken. People whispered. Phones came out. Photos and videos appeared on social media within minutes. Woman attends mother's funeral in handcuffs after stealing her house. After the service, Rebecca stood to give the eulogy. She talked about Caroline's strength, her dedication, her love for her daughters. Then she paused. My mother wanted me to say something else, about forgiveness and accountability. She forgave my sister for what she did, but forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. Mom wanted everyone to know that she died at peace, knowing her house was saved. And she wanted to thank Peter Whitmore publicly for making that possible. People turned to look at me. I kept my eyes on Rebecca. Peter could have walked away from this entire mess. He had every right to, but he chose kindness over bitterness. He saved Mom's house, not for Jennifer, but because it was the right thing to do. That's who he is. And Mom wanted everyone to know that. The whispers grew louder. People started pulling out phones again, probably checking to see if this detail was in any of the news stories. It wasn't. After the service, people approached me, apologized for believing the media narrative, asked if I needed anything. I accepted condolences and moved on quickly. I wasn't there for sympathy. Jennifer tried to approach me before the guard led her back to the transport van. Peter, please, can we talk? No, I'm so sorry. For everything. I never meant for any of this to happen. You meant every bit of it. You just didn't mean to get caught. That's not fair. You mortgaged your dying mother's house, Jennifer. You stole your sister's identity. You planned to flee the country with stolen money. Which part of that is unfair to say? The guard pulled Jennifer away. She was crying. I felt nothing. Rebecca found me by my car. Thank you for coming. Of course. How are you holding up? I'm okay. The kids are confused. They don't understand why their aunt is in handcuffs at Grandma's funeral. What did you tell them? The truth. That Aunt Jennifer made very bad choices and now she has to face the consequences. My oldest, Tommy, he's 11. He asked if you were mad at her. I said you were probably hurt and disappointed, but that you did the right thing anyway. That's fair. The media's finally starting to get the real story. 3 different reporters contacted me yesterday, asked for my side. I told them everything. Good. One of them wanted to know if I thought you were vindictive. I said you were the only person who treated this situation with integrity. That you could have drained bank accounts and really screwed Jennifer over, but instead you protected yourself reasonably and then helped the actual victims. I appreciate that. It's just the truth. Over the next week, the media narrative began to shift. Rebecca's interviews helped. Caroline's eulogy being shared online helped more. Articles started appearing with headlines like, "The full story behind the trial separation that led to fraud charges." Jennifer was offered a plea deal. Plead guilty to identity theft and fraud. Serve 18 months minimum. Pay restitution to Rebecca. The fraudulent mortgage would be voided, but Jennifer would owe Rebecca for any costs and damages. According to Jacqueline, Jennifer wanted to fight it. She thought she could convince a jury that she'd been manipulated by Lance, driven to desperation by my cruelty. Her public defender convinced her otherwise. You don't have a defense. You committed the crimes. Your husband cutting off credit cards isn't abuse, it's reasonable behavior during a separation. Taking this to trial will only result in a longer sentence. Jennifer took the deal. Sentencing was scheduled for 2 months later. Meanwhile, my divorce proceeded. Jacqueline filed immediately after the plea deal was accepted. Simple, clean, irreconcilable differences. No assets to divide since everything was in my name and we'd been separated. No alimony since Jennifer was going to prison. The prenup I'd insisted on 13 years ago covered everything else. Jennifer's mother had warned me back then. My daughter loves the idea of security more than she loves work. Be careful. I'd thought she was being overcritical. Turns out she knew her daughter perfectly. The divorce was finalized before sentencing. The judge signed off without comment. 12 years of marriage dissolved in a 10-minute hearing. Jennifer wasn't even present, still in county jail. On sentencing day, I almost didn't go. Jacqueline said I didn't need to be there. But something made me show up. Closure, maybe. The courtroom was half empty. Rebecca sat in the front row with her kids, a few reporters, Jennifer's father, who I hadn't seen at the funeral. He'd been out of the picture for years, remarried and living in Florida. Apparently, the news coverage brought him back. Jennifer wore a borrowed suit that didn't fit right. Her hair was pulled back. She'd lost weight in county. When they brought her in, she scanned the room and her eyes found mine. I looked away. The prosecutor laid out the charges, the plea agreement, the recommended sentence. Jennifer's public defender gave a brief statement about her remorse, her difficult circumstances, her willingness to make amends. Then the judge asked Jennifer if she had anything to say. She stood. "Your Honor, I made terrible mistakes. I hurt people I love. I betrayed my family's trust. I accept responsibility for my actions." She paused, looking at Rebecca. "I stole from my sister and my mother. I can never make that right, but I will spend the rest of my life trying. I'm sorry." Then she looked at me. "Peter, you deserved better than what I gave you. You were a good husband. I took advantage of your kindness. I'm sorry for everything." I kept my expression neutral. Those words might have meant something 2 months ago. Now they were just performance for the judge. The judge sentenced her to 22 months in state prison. With good behavior, she'd serve about 16 months. She was also ordered to pay Rebecca $73,000 in restitution, plus fees and court costs. Jennifer's legs buckled when she heard the sentence. The guards caught her. As they led her away, she looked back one more time. I was already walking out. Outside, reporters swarmed. I pushed through without comment. Got to my car and just sat there for a minute. It was over. Really, truly over. My phone buzzed. Text from Vanessa. "Mom's asking if you're okay." Me. "I'm fine." Vanessa. "She wants to know if you'll come to dinner Sunday. Family thing." Me. "Tell her I'll think about it." I drove home. The house felt different now. Lighter maybe, or just emptier. I ordered pizza and turned on Netflix. Tried to figure out what normal looked like when your entire life had been dismantled and rebuilt in 3 months. Over the following weeks, I settled into a new routine. Work from the office again. Greg apologized for making me take time off. Said the board was satisfied with how I'd handled the situation professionally. I started going to the gym more. Joined a rec league softball team Vanessa had been bugging me about for years. Went to dinners with friends who'd kept their distance during the marriage, probably because Jennifer had never liked them. Rebecca and I stayed in touch. She sent updates about her kids, about selling Caroline's house now that the fraudulent mortgage was cleared. She got $235,000 for it. After paying off the remaining legitimate mortgage and some repairs, she walked away with about $190,000. Split it between her 3 kids' college funds. "Mom would have wanted that," she said when we met for coffee. "She always talked about helping with their education. Jennifer won't see any of it? Not a penny. And honestly, I don't think she expected to. She signed away any inheritance rights as part of the plea deal. How's she doing?" "I visited once. She's in a minimum security facility, so it's not as bad as county. She works in the library. Says she's taking college courses, learning bookkeeping. That's ironic. I thought so too. She asked about you. What did you tell her? That you're doing well. That you moved on," she cried. I didn't respond to that. What was there to say? 6 months after sentencing, Lance was finally arrested. The FBI had been building a case. Turns out Jennifer wasn't his first victim. They found 8 other women across 4 states. Same pattern every time. Yoga instructor persona, fake wellness business, emotional manipulation, theft. Total damages across all victims, $340,000. He was charged with wire fraud, mail fraud, and interstate fraud conspiracy, federal charges. He'd be going away for a long time. The FBI contacted me for a victim impact statement since Jennifer's crimes were connected to Lance's scheme. I declined. I wasn't Lance's victim. I was just collateral damage from someone else's poor decisions. A year after the separation, I was having dinner with Vanessa when she brought up the obvious question. "So, are you going to date again?" "Eventually. Not in a rush. You know everyone's waiting to see who you end up with. Mom has theories. She thinks you'll find someone completely opposite from Jennifer. I'm not looking for anyone right now. That's what people say right before they meet someone. Then I'll meet someone when I'm not looking." 2 weeks later, I met someone. Her name was Tessa. She was a project manager at a client company. We'd been on work calls for months but never met in person until a conference in Denver. We ended up at the same hotel bar after a long day of presentations. Started talking about the conference, then work, then everything else. She was funny, direct, paid for her own drinks without making it a statement. We closed down the bar at 2 a.m., still talking. "This is the part where I should get your number," I said finally. "This is the part where I give it to you," she replied. We dated long distance for 3 months before she transferred to my city. Moved into her own apartment, maintained her independence, paid her own bills. We split costs down the middle for everything. She never asked me to fund her lifestyle or support her dreams. She had her own money and her own ambitions. 8 months in, I told her about Jennifer. "I read the articles," Tessa said. "When we first started dating, I Googled you, saw the whole story. And you dated me anyway? You paid off your dying mother-in-law's mortgage after your wife committed fraud. That told me everything I needed to know about your character. Some people think I was cruel. Some people are idiots. You set boundaries. That's healthy. Jennifer got out after 14 months. Good behavior. Rebecca told me she moved to Arizona, living with her father and his wife, working retail and paying off her restitution in monthly installments. She'd be paying Rebecca for the next decade at least. She sent me one email. Subject line, "I'm sorry. I didn't open it, just archived it. Maybe someday I'd read it, but not today." Today, I was sitting on Tessa's couch watching her cook dinner while she told me about her terrible day at work. Her project was behind schedule, her team lead was incompetent, and her boss kept moving the deadlines. "Want me to look at the project plan?" I offered. "Maybe I can spot some inefficiencies." "Would you? That'd be amazing." She brought her laptop over. We spent an hour going through her Gantt charts and resource allocation, found 3 bottlenecks she could address immediately. She kissed me and said I was brilliant. This is what normal looks like, I thought. Partnership, mutual support, neither person carrying the full weight. My phone buzzed. Text from Vanessa. "Mom wants to know if you're bringing Tessa to Thanksgiving." Me, "I'll ask her." Vanessa, "Mom's already planning the menu." She's assuming yes. Me, "Tell her to plan for 2 then." Vanessa, "She'll be thrilled. Also, she wanted me to tell you she's proud of you for moving on, for finding someone healthy." Me, "Tell her I said thanks." I looked at Tessa, focused on her laptop, hair falling in her face, completely absorbed in work. She caught me staring. "What?" "Nothing. Just thinking." About how I like where my life ended up." She smiled. "Me too. And for the first time in over a year, I actually meant it. The chaos with Jennifer felt like another lifetime. Someone else's story. I'd built something new, something stable, something real, all because I'd finally learned the most important lesson. Loving someone doesn't mean losing yourself. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is let someone face the consequences of their own choices, even if that someone is your wife.